So yeah, we're gonna do all the rounds, man, of all the science communicators on YouTube. The ones I watch, at least. I know there's plenty, but a lot of the ones I watch, we done did Professor Dave, we done did Planet Peterson, and now we're doing Simon Dan, which is actually one of the first ones I started watching, and I think watching him put Professor Dave into my algorithm, which then put Planet Peterson into my algorithm. So Simon Dan is one of the first people I was watching that was debunking flat earthers, who I thought was hilarious. And the reason I picked this video is because it's David Weiss, who came to Lord Jamar's defense once he got embarrassed on Godfrey's podcast, which you all know. If you're probably watching my channel right now, you've probably seen that video because it's the biggest video on my channel. If you have not, make sure you go watch those to see how we ended up here. I like flat earth material. I like seeing people make fun of flat earthers on YouTube. And Simon Dan, one of the first ones I watched. And he's getting on David Weiss, one of the OG flat earthers. And I guess he probably tried to argue with ChatGPT to prove some bullshit he believes in. So let's see how that go.
A useful tool for ChatGPT has become a useful tool for everyone. It can help with menial tasks and of course answer questions to things you might not know. However, recently it appears that flat earthers have jumped on a trend where they trying to convince ChatGPT that the earth is flat, somehow thinking if they can get ChatGPT to agree with them, then that makes them correct. It's adorable really, isn't it? Well, in today's video, one of the biggest flat earthers around gets very frustrated trying to do just that. Roll the titles.
What I find funny about that is, if they posted this content of trying to fucking wreck the shit out of ChatGPT to agree with it.
Welcome along to another video with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, here's a quick word from me about today's sponsor, Beer 52. Would you like a free case of beer? Ooh. Summer is here and our friends at Beer 52 have you covered. With a free case of 8 spectacular beers delivered to your door. Beer 52 traversed the globe to discover the world's best. Taiwan is a double IPA from the Smooth Beer event. Also under rock, choose the fascinating satisfying Mandan to claim.com.
This is
today's video then with Simon Dan. Thanks again to Beer 52 for sponsoring. Right, on with today's video then, which comes from David Weiss. He's having a talk with ChatGPT about the Earth's atmosphere. He starts by confirming with ChatGPT that here on Earth's surface, air moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, and that this is not really affected by gravity, which is true in situations like air escaping from a can of Coke when you open it, because gravity doesn't really play a part there. Having got those ground rules down, Dave goes for a big play. Let's see what happens.
So the Earth, we're told, is a globe surrounded by high pressure air adjacent to the void/vacuum of space. How come the air doesn't equalize into space?
So for some of this, I'm just going to let ChatGPT answer Dave, and I'll interject where I feel I need to. But already his understanding of how the atmosphere works is flawed. He thinks he can compare cans of Coke and small boxes with no air inside to the entirety of Earth's atmosphere.
That's a big and interesting question. In the standard scientific model, Earth's atmosphere is held in place by gravity.
Stop. You said gravity does not hold air down.
Unfortunately, Dave interrupting is a theme.
He got pissed. Stop. Dude, at least let it finish.
For this video, you can already sense his frustration, can't you?
And at high altitudes, the gravity is even less than it is on ground. How could the gravity not pull the air into space? You can tell me you don't know and it's an anomaly and you don't have an answer, but don't lie.
He's so emotionally invested in this, isn't he? Of course, the atmosphere does equalise. That's what the pressure gradient is. Let's hear ChatGPT's response.
I understand what you're getting at. Gravity does hold the atmosphere to Earth. Even though gravity decreases slightly with altitude, it's still strong enough to keep the atmosphere from escaping into space.
No, I think ChatGPT has been too soft here. The gravitational influence.
Hey, especially if he's specifically using ChatGPT, that motherfucker is going to be nice and kind about everything. I saw somebody say that, it was like, hey, I want you to roast me real quick. And it was like roasting them in like a positive way. It was like, you really sitting your lazy self on this couch right now when I know that you can do better because you're the most amazing. Like, it was glazing them while trying to trying to fry them up, it was still like giving compliments the whole time. Like ChatGPT really be trying to like gas you up. Like
at 100 miles up is still 95% that it is on the Earth's surface.
The atmosphere gradually thins out with altitude, creating a pressure gradient. This is why we have a thick atmosphere at the surface, and it becomes very thin at higher altitudes.
I understand why you say that there's a pressure gradient. That's why I asked you earlier, if the room had 1% atmosphere, which would represent the very top of our pressure gradient adjacent to a void, if I had a box that represented outer space, which is a vacuum, you said no matter what, the air would equalize up and away from gravity into it. But now you're claiming that gravity holds it down. Do you see the discrepancy here?
No, why is he acting like equal out me? He said, hold on.
But now you're claiming no matter what, the air would equalize up and away from gravity into it. But now you're claiming that gravity holds it down.
Yes. So just because they're saying it'll equal out the higher up in altitude you go, it doesn't mean non-existent. Equalizing doesn't mean non-existent. Why is he saying it like those two concepts can't go hand in hand?
You see the discrepancy here?
No.
Do you see what you're doing?
I don't.
We see what you're doing, Dave, which is trying to compare a box on the surface of the Earth with the entirety of the Earth's atmosphere. It's truly ridiculous to compare them.
I see your point. The analogy with the room and box is simplified.
Oh, deep burn from ChatGPT there, calling Dave low-key simple.
In reality, Earth's atmosphere is a large, continuous system. Gravity acts on the entire atmosphere, creating a pressure gradient from the surface all the way up to the edge of space. The atmosphere doesn't just sit next to a vacuum, it gradually transitions into it.
So you're telling me now if I took...
And he can't sit there and learn something, bro. You finna sit there and get mad at ChatGPT and they trying to learn you something, boy. Take the fucking notes and just listen.
Took that box of, I have a box of no pressure, of a vacuum, and I brought it up to 10,000 feet and opened it, it would suck air up and away from gravity. If I brought it up to 100,000 feet and opened it, it would suck the air up and away from gravity. If I took it to the very top of the atmosphere, all of a sudden it would stop equalizing, because earlier you said no matter what, if there's any difference in pressure, the pressure will equalize.
Yes, if you bring a vacuum-sealed box to 10,000 feet and open it, air will rush in. Same at 100,000 feet. That's not air defying gravity. It's air responding to a local pressure imbalance.
Right,
but here's what
it's like, I don't get the again, they just like he was like, yeah, if you take the KFC chicken bucket and you put the mashed potatoes and the chicken and the gravy, you know, it's just gonna sit there, and that's how the Earth is. It's like, bro, you be taking these just like Jamar with the water on the ball thing. Like, y'all take these concepts and try to apply it on Earth as if it's the same as the entire outer space. It just can't. Everything doesn't work that way. You can't do. It can't be a one-to-one all the time.
What you're ignoring, there's still air at those altitudes. Less of it, of course, yes, but it's still there. And gravity is still acting on it. That's why there's any air pressure at all, even that high up. You're confusing localized lab setups with planetary-sized pressure systems. Now, at the edge of space, there's barely any air left. So if you opened your vacuum-sealed box up there, almost nothing would happen. Not because pressure stops equalizing, but because there's almost nothing left to equalize with.
You're right that the principle of pressure equalization applies at any altitude. If you have a vacuum container and open it, air will move to fill that vacuum regardless of direction. The reason Earth's atmosphere doesn't simply vanish into space is that gravity continuously acts on all the air molecules, keeping them bound to Earth. The atmosphere thins gradually as altitude increases, forming a gradient. But it's not a hard boundary. It's a gradual transition where molecular motion and gravity
Hey, that motherfucker is giving a thorough explanation, and watch him still find a way to argue.
in balance.
Oh, ChatGPT is a stubborn so-and-so, isn't it, Dave?
You're contradicting what you said earlier. You said no matter what the difference in the vacuum to the pressure in the room, whether it's 1% or even less, that it would equalize. But now you're saying there's a magic line where the vacuum will...
He literally said there's no line. He literally said it's a gradual transition. There is no fine line. Now David literally just said the opposite of what the GPT said. Are you kidding me, bro?
not equalize? What is that percentage? What percentage atmosphere is it where it will stop equalizing?
The Earth is not a box, Dave. It's a massive planet with a massive atmosphere under constant gravitational compression. That's what causes the pressure, the weight of the atmosphere on top of itself. Scale changes everything.
There isn't a specific magic line or percentage.
Because you're making it up. That's why
He didn't say that though. I'm not tripping, y'all. Didn't it say it's no line?
earlier. You said
Gradually, as altitude air molecule doesn't simply vanish into space vacuum regardless of direction. The reason Earth's atmosphere doesn't simply vanish into space is that gravity continuously acts on all the air molecules, keeping them bound to Earth. The atmosphere thins gradually as altitude increases, forming a gradient, but it's not a hard boundary.
It's not a hard boundary. And now he's saying there's this magical line when it didn't say that. Is he like, what the fuck?
even less that it would equalize. But now you're saying
It's a massive what changes.
why there's not a specific.
There isn't a specific magic line or percentage.
Because you're making it up. That's why there's not a specific magic line.
He's starting to get a bit triggered, isn't he?
Well, you admit that to have air pressure, you need a container because the air needs to push off of something.
Dave keeps demanding, show me a high pressure system next to a low pressure system without a barrier. You mean like weather systems? Or storm fronts? Those are pressure gradients in action, moving and shifting and balancing without containers. Just air and gravity. You see it every day on weather maps. Now, Dave keeps pushing ChatGPT on this line of questioning before focusing more on gravity itself.
You said that gravity does not affect the gas at all. It has to do with pressure. But now you're invoking that gravity on a large scale does hold gas down.
I feel like to his audience, Dave probably thinks that this looks like, look, I know so much information that ChatGPT will lie to keep up this round Earth lie. I think that's what his audience perceives this as, because and you know what's funny is these type of people rely on ChatGPT like it's the Bible. So I just wonder if they're hearing this and like, look, David, the ChatGPT can't even keep up with itself, and Dave is catching it up in lies. Like,
we demonstrated where we can physically demonstrate with boxes of air and boxes of vacuums that gravity takes no part in it.
Why would
but
he
on a
post
planetary scale, all of a sudden the rules change?
Pretty much, Dave.
Yes,
That's as close as you're.
Yes, the rules change when you compare things within Earth's atmosphere and use of gravity versus when you get closer to where gravity isn't as strong as it is on the Earth. Just like Jamar, let me see you put water on a ball and spin it around and it stays on it, blah, blah, blah. No, bro, it don't work like that. The Earth's gravitational pull does not work the same way when you're on the Earth versus outside of space. Like, you fucking idiot. This is simple.
Ever get to understanding it?
I understand the confusion.
There's no confusion here.
He's not happy, is he?
You're just making up crap to defend the globe model when in fact
This is fucking cope. This is cope. Oh my God. This is cope, bro. This is cope. No, is it you're making shit up to defend the flat Earth. You're making up stuff to defend the globe Earth model. You're lying.
you're just making up crap to defend the globe model when in fact the fact that a flat Earth model with an enclosed atmosphere would have a pressure gradient.
Why? Why would it? Could you explain that? Probably not. And also, you just accuse an AI of making things up specifically to defend the globe. You understand how funny that is, right?
Oh
It
my
would
God.
contain our air and it would make more sense. So just answer this. If the Earth is a globe with high pressure air adjacent to a void, that's model number one, the globe model. Model number two is the Earth is flat, it's enclosed with a pressure gradient. Which one takes less leaps of faith and has more scientific evidence towards it? Which one?
What?
Pick one.
This is where things get a bit more frustrating for Dave.
The standard scientific model of a spherical Earth with an atmosphere held by gravity is supported by extensive evidence and well-established.
There's no extensive evidence. There's no well-established. I'm asking you
Oh
now.
my God. Why would you post this? There's no scientific evidence that's well established. The Earth is not a globe.
All of the information that you told me, all of the experiments that we just discussed, which one makes more scientific sense? Forget whether the Earth is flat or a globe. Which one explains the containment of air on Earth? The flat Earth model or the globe model? Which one scientifically has more evidence showing that makes more sense? Which one, flat or globe?
He's really trying hard,
First
isn't
of all,
he?
you said forget flat or globe. Now you're saying which one, flat or globe?
The scientific consensus.
I don't care about scientific consensus. Consensus is not science. Consensus is just consensus.
Well, scientific consensus is different than just a consensus. Those two different things, bro.
So every scientist on Earth confirming and agreeing that the atmosphere is held to Earth due to gravity causing a pressure gradient, that's not enough for you? Okay.
Right? So which one has more scientific evidence, considering all of the experiments that we just discussed? Which one? A flat Earth with a dome over us containing the air, giving us our pressure gradient inside the container, or a globe where gravity is holding the air down adjacent to a Tor 17 vacuum, right? Which one makes more sense?
Dave, you're really coming across as desperate here, buddy.
From a scientific standpoint, the model of a spherical Earth with gravity holding the atmosphere is supported by a vast array of evidence and
What evidence? What evidence do you have? Because we just did a whole bunch of experiments, and you admitted that gravity does not hold it down.
Dave wants us to forget about all the scientific evidence and just focus on his empty box in a room scenario. Seems fair. Dave asked the same question again.
In a purely hypothetical scenario where we consider only the mechanics of containing a gas, a closed container would make it easier to understand how to maintain pressure gradients. However, when considering Earth, extensive observations of atmospheric behavior, satellite data, and physical...
Stop it. You're invoking satellites. You're invoking stuff that you know nothing about, that you have no evidence of.
Dave, you asked for evidence. ChatGPT started giving you that evidence, and then you just told it to stop. You see how ridiculous this is? Now, Dave at this point decides to change tactics a little bit. He starts to ask purely about closed systems and open systems.
In a simplified scenario focused only on gas laws and containment, a closed system can be easier to understand in terms of how pressure...
A closed system is easier to understand because it makes more sense. A globe with a high-pressure system adjacent to a void, you have to take leaps of faith and consensus and just assumptions that you cannot test. You cannot show me an example of gas uncontained. You can only say... we've known it's tested. You can, but you cannot show me an example of gas uncontained without reifying your example by using the Earth as an example. Can you show me an example of high pressure next to low pressure without containment, without using the Earth?
Now, Dave's trying all his tricks here, ones that he would use on people in debates.
Do y'all see what these people have to put themselves through to make themselves sound trustworthy or knowledgeable? Like, you're arguing with ChatGPT to just defy all things scientific, all of history, all of common knowledge, all of common sense. And y'all know how much I don't even like that term anymore. Like, fuck.
GPT is holding strong, though, it seems.
It's true that in laboratory settings, we rely on containers to demonstrate pressure differences.
Not only laboratory settings, but anywhere. Can you show me a scientific experiment with high pressure next to low pressure without containment, without using the Earth, or as your example? Yes or no? Can you show me an example? Yes or no?
No. In practical experiments, a containment boundary is typically needed to demonstrate.
No.
No. In practical experiments, a containment boundary is typically needed to demonstrate.
Thank you. Welcome to Flat Earth. That's it. We're done.
Amazing.
You can't make me... ChatGPT, you can't confirm the Earth is flat, so therefore that's how I know it's flat. What the... Bro, he basically just said, yeah, thank you, we've gotten to Flat Earth, since you simply don't agree with me that the Earth is flat, because I'm trying to apply... pressure within the Earth versus pressure in the whole atmosphere of outer space. Like, give me a fucking break.
Because ChatGPT can't show an example of a high pressure system next to a low pressure system, Dave takes that as an automatic win. Truly amazing. Welcome to Flat Earth is the cringiest thing I've ever heard anyone say, by the way. Well, there we go. What do we all think of that one? Did Dave really prove Flat Earth to ChatGPT, or did he get thoroughly owned? I'll let me know in the comments. As I say, we're all done and dusted for another one. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It's daily videos from now on, as you all know probably. And if you really enjoyed this particular video, a big thumbs up would be helpful too. Thank you. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for 5 tricks that flat earthers use to fool you. See you then.
Jesus. Oh man, that was funny. But yeah, man, like Simon Dan, he's pretty funny. Like this one he let Dave did it all to himself. Simon Dan usually has a lot more jabs in between and stuff, but Dave did it to himself with it. That was funny. I enjoyed that more than I thought I was going to. That shit was funny. But yeah, man, if you made it to this point in the video, man, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub. If not one, then all 3. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subs by the 4th of July, and the only way I could do that is with your help by sharing this video, watching this video, liking this video. You feel me? So yeah, thank you if you made it to this point in the video, man. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.